Hello, everybody. This is William Cheney, and I'm here with the Incredible Family um, live podcast. As you know, we've been sharing insights how to parent in the midst of a pandemic. And today we have Jennifer Hansen with us. She's a licensed counselor. She'll tell you more about herself in just a minute. But today, our topic is parenting anxious children in anxious times. I think everybody would agree with me that this is an anxious time that we live in. COVID-19 has produced sheltering in place, social distancing. Last week, 30 million people um, filed for unemployment benefits. Large portions of the country are shut down. There are churches that have not opened in several weeks. There are businesses that are on the edge of collapsing because they haven't been able to generate income. There are entrepreneurs everywhere who are wondering, will they ever get their business back up and running? So even in the midst of all of these things taking place in our society, we're all called still to be parents. And this is what this podcast is about. We don't claim to be experts in parenting, but we are sharing our bits of expertise so that everybody can be a stronger parent in the midst of the season in which we're living. Today, I'd like to introduce to you Jennifer Hansen. She's going to be our guest, and she's going to provide us our content for today. First of all, welcome, Jennifer.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me today.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Pennsylvania. I work with adults, with children, with families, with numerous different backgrounds. I have 19 years of experience working in the field, starting with working with adults with schizophrenia, leading to working with adolescents in residential treatment facilities, partial hospitalization programs, and adolescents who were incarcerated in juvenile facilities for a wide range of clinical reasons. One of them, of course, being anxiety, but specifically working with children with trauma, and along with trauma comes anxiety. In addition to professionally being in the field, I'm a mother. I have a teenage daughter who is a senior this year and very anxious about what is about to come of her life, and whether or not we live in Maryland, and we have not canceled schools officially yet for the rest of the year, and prom is not scheduled until the end of May and graduation in June, so none of that has been canceled yet. However, there's a lot of uncertainty, which creates a lot of anxiety during these times. I have a 5-year-old son who is high functioning autism, and along with autism comes some anxiety and some other symptoms as well. And I have a 3-year-old who is very energetic and very, very determined in his own beliefs. So along with being a professional, I definitely, anxiety is no stranger in our household as well. So being a parent to 3 beautiful kids with their own challenges, their own strengths and challenges. I hope today to be able to share my knowledge, my professional knowledge, my experiences in my past, as well as just my knowledge as being a parent to anybody that we could potentially help. I do believe that God gives us certain circumstances for a reason, and we are meant to share those experiences and those circumstances that we have been through to help each other out. So I'm glad to be here today.
I am so excited that you're here. You have laid it out for us. Really, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of is that talking to my neighbors around here, it's like we love our family and we love being together, but 7 weeks in the house together is causing some stress like never before. And so, what would you tell some of those parents?
You are not alone. I have clients almost on a daily basis sharing their struggles and feeling alone and feeling as a failure as a parent because they are juggling so many 24-hour jobs at once right now. We are now parents, we are now babysitters, we are now cooks, we are now the maids, right? On top of, many of us are also working from home while we're trying to perform all these tasks, and everybody is overwhelmed right now. When we're overwhelmed, our anxiety goes up, and our anxiety can cause a lot of behaviors that we may not always be proud of. But you are not alone, and we are all in this together. We will all survive this together, of course.
So we've talked about some of the anxiety that adults go through, but what are some of
Mhm.
the anxieties that young people are the kids are going through?
We've seen a lot of increase in anxiety with the COVID-19. It's interesting because some of our kids who typically have anxiety are actually calm right now because
Oh,
they are less exposed to certain circumstances. And then some of them are even, their anxiety is more heightened. So we're seeing a wide range of either this calmness or an increase in anxiety. But we've definitely had an increase of kids, teenagers, and adults as well as coming in with anxiety. And so what we're seeing is many of them, the uncertainty of what does this illness mean to me and my family and to my grandparents and my loved ones, and what is going to happen. There's so much media, there's so much talk, and even as parents, even if we're trying not to share some of the knowledge that we're getting from the media and from those around us, our kids pick it up. I will tell you, my 5-year old is able, he's walking around talking about the virus. So, and I don't think any of us have said much about that in front of him, but apparently we have enough for him to pick it up. So these kids are acting out their anxieties because they don't have the words necessarily to say I'm anxious, and they don't always have the understanding of this is what anxiety looks like or feels like. This is what anxiety is. And so we're seeing a lot of kids who are acting out their anxiety through behaviors, especially our younger kids and our teenagers, where you might see them more irritable, more snappy. You might see them as isolating or withdrawing more often, or maybe they're eating more, they're binging on carbs and sugars, or they're not eating at all. They're simply saying to you, nope, I'm not hungry. Are you sure? You didn't eat breakfast. You didn't eat lunch. Are you sure you're not going to eat dinner too? There's a lot of signs and symptoms in our kids right now that are showing that their life has been disrupted, and that anxiety is present.
wow. So when we're talking about children, their anxiety can express itself in many different ways, if I'm hearing you
Mhm.
correctly.
Mhm.
But on top of that, I think the topic that we wanted to really look at today was many of the parents who are at least on the Incredible tribe. We have children who are suffering from different types of anxiety,
Mhm.
whether it's OCD, whether it's ADHD. Some are high functioning autism. Some
Mhm.
are the different challenges that just in that for some of our parents, at least the ones I'm hearing from, have just really heightened this season to be frustrating. Um, why is the frustration in these young people being expressed? Um, I think it's being expressed in all. If I hear you correctly, it's being expressed in all children. But these children that, from the parents I've heard of, it feels to them like this
A little
is
more intense.
that's the word, intense.
Mhm.
Can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. If they were already struggling with anxiety, and now we are putting on top of them new circumstances, their structure, their routine, their schedule is completely off of what it used to be. So their everyday life that gave them a sense of increased calmness or peace, that they knew when they woke up during in the morning what was about to happen. All of that uncertainty of what their day is going to look like and how long is this going to happen, is disrupted. And of course, it's going to increase anxiety. Uncertainty, the not knowing what is going to happen is sometimes, not sometimes, it is most of the times more anxiety provoking than actually dealing with the situation in the moment. When we're dealing with a situation, we tend to be a little bit more courageous. We do what we need to do to get through the situation. But when we have uncertainty, our mind has this time to race and to go to these places of all these what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? But as our routines are disrupted, I'm hearing a lot of families who sleep, their schedule is off, as families are staying up later or children are napping throughout the day. They don't have the everyday routine of at this time I'm going to have lunch and at this time I'm going to do schoolwork. They have the pressures of trying to teach themselves school, in addition to trying to figure out what this new life looks like, this new temporary life looks like. And so all of this disruption creates this uncertainty, which just flares up their anxiety.
So we know that anytime routines are disrupted, there's a period of adjusting, trying to get back to at least balance, if not back to normal.
Absolutely. You mentioned high functioning autism.
Yeah.
Children who have autism, they really rely on structure and routine. Part of that disorder, those children really struggle with transitions and with change. And so when just a part of their day, if you tell them we're going to the zoo today at 10 o'clock in the morning and it's 10:15 a.m. and you haven't left for the zoo that morning, their anxiety is flared up. So imagine now inside of their young minds, as they are in so much need of that structure and routine that they rely on, and we have totally disrupted that. And so of course their anxiety is going to flare up. And because that is a social disorder, they really do struggle many times with communicating their thoughts, their feelings, and what's going on inside of them. A lot of times even identifying what's going on inside of them. So we're going to see this through their behaviors. They're going to be stimming more. They're going to be acting out more. They're going to be a little bit more defiant and testy with us. And we're already overwhelmed as parents. So that increases our anxiety and our frustrations, which in turn, it's like a cycle. It's where they then are also going to continue to get more frustrated because they're feeding off of our energies as well.
Wow. So what do you tell, first, let's just talk about parents.
Mhm.
What do you tell parents? How should they start coping better with their anxiety so they can be better prepared to handle and work with their children?
I think number one, especially during right now when everything is uncertain, we have to ground ourselves and we have to feel secure about what is happening. We have to find some sense of safety in this world and within our family. If we're not feeling safe, our children are going to feed off of that. They're going to read that, even if you're not saying that to them. We give off vibes through our behaviors, through our mood, through our energy that children pick up on. They're smarter than we think they are. And sometimes just the simple way of thinking can really alter that. So if we're looking at this pandemic and catastrophizing it ourselves as in that this is the end of the world and oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this, right? Our kids are going to pick up on this. But if we look at this with some optimism, every tragedy, every horrible situation always has something positive that comes out of it. I look at this pandemic and talk to my clients about this pandemic as it is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we will probably, hopefully, but probably never go through again. This is an opportunity for us to spend more time with our family and cherish that time. This is a time for us to really get back to the root of our existence and what our purpose is in life. I know myself and many other people have repeatedly talked about how busy life gets and how, oh, I just wish I could have a break. I just need a break. I just need a day or a weekend, or I just need to get away. Well, this is our getaway time. This is our time to really relax and enjoy this moment. This is your time to do the things that you wanted to do around the house, color and paint and redecorate, or play some family games or watch some movies together as a family. And so we can look at this as an opportunity, or we could catastrophize this. But the way that we initially take on our own beliefs about this is absolutely going to impact our children. And so we have to remember that.
I just want to celebrate what you just said. We're either going to catastrophize it, did
Mhm.
I say it correctly?
Yes.
Or we're going to do something with it. What I've been
Mhm.
telling some of my coaching clients, this is an opportunity for you to come out better than you started out.
Mhm.
This is an
Absolutely.
opportunity to be closer to your children than you've ever been before.
Mhm.
And questioning, are you going to spend time lamenting the past, or are you going to look forward to the future? So I feel like you nailed that right on.
Mhm.
Um, and because we come from a positive psychology perspective, we're always trying to figure out not how to fix the other person, but what can I do to
Mhm.
fix me?
Mhm.
And that is right now liberating and exciting.
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
also scary for some people that they have to be vulnerable with themselves. And so if someone is in that place that, you know what, I can be better, but that's a scary place to be, what would you tell that parent?
I would say that, I'm sorry, you said if they can be better. Repeat
They
the end of that.
realize it, but they also know that if, in order to do it, they have to be honest with themselves. You know,
Hmm.
I'll just use myself for an example.
Yes.
I've been walking every day, but I've also been eating more every day.
Hmm.
So in order to really lose weight, I have to either walk twice as much or eat less. And so
Hmm.
that's one of those places of vulnerability that I had to come to a place in myself. But I'm asking, what do we tell our parents? How do they get there?
Hmm. I think as parents, as we are empowering ourselves, we are also role modeling to our children of how to empower themselves. We are teaching them and leading them through example that yes, we validate that we are going through a difficult time and that there is anxiety and there are stressors out there in this world, but we are bigger and better than that and we can overcome this. And later on in that child's life, when your child is facing something else that is very scary in their life, whether it's their first day of high school, their first day of college, their SAT tests or the first job interview. And they remember that they got through a pandemic and that their parents showed them how to get through this pandemic, right? Then they become empowered themselves to be able to say, I can do this. And they learn those coping skills in the moment of what we're teaching them now so that they can use that later on in life. So yes, each day we have to wake up as parents and we have to make the steps that we know that we need to do to be empowered to make that we're coping through one day at a time, but we're leading by example to our kids. I say that, but I also want to say that none of us are perfect either. So when we notice that we are not doing as well as we would have liked, being honest with ourselves and being honest with our children, apologizing to ourselves and our children and taking ownership for that and saying how we're going to correct that. That too is leading by example to our kids that we are human, we make mistakes, but we grow from it and we go forward so that we are constantly growing as a person. We are not going to be perfect through this pandemic, but we can absolutely continue to grow. And when we look back and we see everything we've overcome individually or as a family, that just empowers us for the future.
So, Jennifer, I have one last question before we look at wrapping this up.
Mhm.
Is there any value in a group of accountable friends being connected that way, or is it better to focus just on my family where they are?
I think a support system is absolutely necessary for everyone and anyone. That a sense of community, a sense of support system, that especially as parents, someone that you can reach out to when you're struggling to normalize what you're going through, to have support, to have that accountability of, come on, girl, get up, you got this, right? Is absolutely important. It is something that every single day with any one of my clients, regardless of what they're struggling with, that we emphasize. Support system is one of the number one places that we go to with every client to make sure that they have that, especially in hard times.
Well, Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Um, Before we go, you shared with me a resource that I put on our page.
Hmm.
So
Right.
anybody who's watching this off of the Incredible Tribe, you can just go up to files, click on it, and you can see this resource. Could you tell us a little bit about that resource, please?
Yeah, sure. So my intern actually gave us that resource, and it is everything and anything that as professional counselors that we use for our clients for anxiety. It talks about grounding techniques. I had a lot of stuff prepared for you, but honestly, it's all in that document. It talks about different coping skills and coping thoughts and gratitude, and it just really kind of walks you through the skills to get through anxiety for your child.
Wow. So, Jennifer, thank you for that. Everybody, I want you to know that like I said before, the resources are right there in the file section. That
Mhm.
anyone who has not taken the Incredible Parent assessment, go ahead and take it. It's on the page. If you can't find it, inbox me and I'll get it to you as quickly as possible. I want to thank everybody. We grew last week. Last week, we had
Mhm.
50 people as a member of the tribe. And this afternoon, as we were logging on, there are 110. So thank you, everybody in the tribe, as we've been growing. We're going to continue to grow. Next week is the International Week for Coaches, and we're going to do some special things on the Incredible Tribe. One of the things I know we're going to do is we're going to have a giveaway for the person who invites the most. It's going to be a $20 Amazon gift card. So I will announce it on that morning because I don't want y'all loading up. I want y'all to, it's in the moment. Next week, we will have Nikkei Roach. He's going to actually give us encouragement for fathers. Mothers, I know you're going through it, but we have a special Mother's Day coming up for you. So we're gonna actually attend to you. But what I've been also experiencing, the number of families who are making a decision because both parents either can't work or have been laid off is incredible. Many men take their job as that's their total worth and being. And as they're making decisions, who's going to go back? Jennifer shares she's in Maryland, but we're in Virginia. And it is already clear that all schools are closed till June 10th. So since that is the case, some parents, even right here in my neighborhood, are making the decision which parent will go back to work. And so we want to spend some time because what we're finding is the fathers have taken on that responsibility. And we sat four of us each corner and we yelled at each other practically across the corners because of the stress that the fathers are experiencing. So next week we'll have Nikkei. Jennifer, are there any closing words you would like to share with us?
I would just say to keep your heads up. We're all in this together, and pay attention to you as a parent, the energy you're giving off to your child, and reach out to support for yourself and lots of self-care during this time. We will all get through this. We got this.
Well, thank you once again. Incredible Tribe. Once again, thank you. I'm going to go live a whole lot next week, so look forward to it. Jennifer, I look forward to having you come back and share with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.